Types of language death. Languages don't always die in the same way. There are various types of language death. The most common way that languages disappear is through gradual language death. This normally happens when speakers of one language come into contact with a language of higher prestige, the language of a dominant, more powerful group of people. That community may remain bilingual for quite a long time, but with each successive generation, fewer young people speak their traditional language and with lower levels of proficiency, as they opt to use the prestige language instead, until one day their community's traditional language is no longer spoken. An example of this is Cornish, which ceased to be spoken by the late 19th century as a result of the growing influence of English, and also as a result of the perception of Cornish as a lower-class language, even amongst its own speakers at the time. Gaulish. Up until the 6th century CE, a Celtic language called Gaulish was spoken in what's now France. When the Romans conquered the area, they made Latin the official language of the state, and being able to speak Latin became a way to gain status and economic opportunity. For a number of centuries, it was common to be bilingual in Gaulish vernacular and the prestige language Latin, until Latin finally replaced Gaulish entirely. This is a clear case of gradual language death, as a population gradually gave up their traditional language in favor of the prestige language. Why should we care about language death? Some people think that language death is a good thing, that less language diversity is a good thing. For example, the leaders of some countries want one language to be dominant and to replace all of the others because they think that will promote the unity of their country. On the other hand, a language is part of a culture, so when a language dies, part of that culture dies, and a unique way of seeing the world dies with it. For example, let's look at the endangered Kalawaya language of Bolivia. Kalawaya is used by a sect of medicine men, who learned the language not only to understand the ritual practice and oral tradition of their ancestors, but also to understand the thousands upon thousands of plant names specific to the Kalawaya language that explain the medicinal uses of different plants in the local region. If Kalawaya disappears, then all of that culture and secret knowledge will disappear with it. Linguistic diversity has been on a steady decline, and of the present nearly 7,000 languages on Earth, nearly half are endangered. And the top 100 most spoken languages are spoken by 85% of the world's population. Some endangered languages are finding new life through revitalization efforts, which require that the language first be recorded and documented, then learned by new speakers, and also used by an enthusiastic and motivated community. And having some political influence wouldn't hurt either. The question of the day: in your country, or in your region, are there languages that are in danger of dying or becoming extinct? How would you feel about those languages disappearing? Would something important be lost?